Hey everyone, it is, what day is it? Goodness me, it's Wednesday evening and it's properly in the evening. It's 7:10 and it's been, as always, busy day. So busy day at work, and then got home, had to collect some animal feed. I've still got some in the car that I need to sort of put round. Fed the goats, fed the pigs, milked the goats. Had to do quite a bit of milk processing. I had 2 or 3 days worth of milk to process, and then fed everyone, cooked dinner, sat down, ate. So it's 7:10 before I've had chance to get out and really do anything. And I'm not going to be doing a great deal today, but there's one job in particular that I did want to get done, and that is to sort out my tomato plants. My tomatoes have come on fantastically well. They're way ahead of where they were last year, which I'm both surprised and obviously thrilled by. I've also watered all my seedlings and stuff. So yeah, it's just this job that kind of needs to be done, and we'll see. I might have a bit of a weed on the vegetable bed as well. We'll see how we get on. Here we go. Can you hear? There's a few spits and spots of rain. And look, because my strawberries are just the other side of the polytunnel. A few of them have come through. So we've got down here. We've got a few peppers. Then we go to cucumbers, and then these are all tomatoes. And as you can see, I mean, they're really, really going for it. And I need to get them supported. This one's actually, look at that. And that will become susceptible to disease, and of course where it's led down on the ground. So what I'll probably do here, where we've got some flowers here, I'll see if these come to anything, and then I'll take this whole branch off. Now, I am really not great at pinching out tomatoes. I try, I do what I can. I always miss some, but we will do a few while we're here. I always end up with more than one stem, even though I don't mean to. But look, we've got our first tomatoes forming as well. Look. Oh, very exciting. The first tomatoes are a real treat. So I'm just going to do a bit of pinching out now, and maybe even a little bit of thinning, and then as soon as we've done that, we'll start supporting all these plants. Now, what this definitely isn't is a how to pinch out your tomato plants video. I'm famously awful at it, and some years we get a jungle in here, and that doesn't bother me so long as there's enough. This is my perspective, my thinking. So long as there's enough nutrients in the soil to support a huge plant, and so long as you don't mind the extra effort of having to kind of wade through the jungle to get to the fruit, then I don't think it's that big a problem. But I do know, and I'm going to take advantage of it here, I do know that quite a lot of you guys that follow me are really good and really experienced tomato farmers. So I'll take this opportunity to explain what I do, only so that I can learn from you guys. And it's always worth, not just on this video, but it's always worth reading the comments, because I never profess to be an expert, and all I ever do is I kind of show you guys what I'm doing and what I'm up to, and usually I'm learning on the job, and that's what I'm sharing with you. But a lot of you are, genuine experts in different areas, or at least have more experience than I do. So it's always worth reading the comments, because there's quite often some really good tips in there. So what I always took to be pinching out was, let me see if I can show you. Every time I've sort of tried to understand it, everything tells me that, you see this little guy here growing out in between the branch where the stem branches, that's called pinching out. Now please correct me if I'm wrong, that's what I've always understood it to be. And by pinching out my tomatoes, these are all vining tomatoes. They're all indeterminate varieties. I'm starting about 6 or 7 different lines of inquiry at the moment, I'm aware of that, but they're all tied together. So indeterminate tomatoes, like these guys, these are Gardener's Delight and Moneymakers. That's almost everything I've got in here. I've got a couple of other little varieties, but Gardener's Delight and Moneymakers are both indeterminate varieties, which means they will just grow and grow and grow as long as the weather permits. And they will get bigger and bigger, loads of tomatoes. This is amazing. And they'll get bigger and bigger, whereas a determinate variety will kind of grow and it'll have a certain number of side shoots that it will send out as it goes. And you know, doesn't matter how much you prune it, you'll get no more or no less than that number and that size. So I love an indeterminate variety, and as long as your ground has got loads and loads of goodness in it for them, then you know, you're going to get a massive plant, a massive, really productive plant. And of course, you'll probably remember, if you've been following me for a little while, we had our chickens in here at the end of last year. During chicken lockdown, it was really useful to use this space. So what we've got in here is not only soil that is no dig, so it's got all of those amazing soil food web microorganisms and mycorrhizal fungi in there, doing their stuff, and all those really beneficial nematodes and all those kinds of things. On top of that, we're also adding compost to it. We've added compost to the top, and on top of that, we've had the chickens in here feeding it as well with their manure. So this really is super soil. The only thing I would say to that is the actual chicken manure, which is probably under 3 or 4 inches of compost down here, has formed a fairly compact layer, and it's not ideally rotted yet. It would be, it's a little bit harsh, a little bit acidic, and it would actually damage some of your plants if they're right up against it. But what I've done, where I've planted all of these guys out, is I've dug a little hole and we've planted them down through that chicken manure, so the chicken manure is a good few inches away from the plant all the way round, and the bit that we dug out we put up on the compost pile. So I'm treating it as a kind of slow release fertilizer that's a blanket under this ground, except for where our plants actually are. So yeah, I mean, this is super soil in here. So these plants are going to just get so much goodness. But what I was going back to is the pruning and the pinching out. You know, I still get, and I don't know how, I just get loads and loads of you know, almost main stems. So this guy here, look, we've got 3 coming off here and another one down here, and I don't know how that's happened because I've pinched everything out, and this one actually went on a little bit further. I showed you this guy just a few minutes ago, and I've cut it right back to there. I've kept these flowers on. We'll take these tomatoes and we'll stop it growing any further, and then we'll cut that off because, among other things, it's snapped here, which is going to allow disease in, and also it's touching the ground. So generally speaking, we're going to have another look maybe later today, or maybe another day, once we've got them all supported. And what I will tend to do is take off any low branches, any low stems that have got leaves that are down touching the ground. We'll take them off because they're just going to be, you know, ripe for getting all sorts of fungal diseases and stuff. I'm not sure what's causing this leaf curl. Got it on a few of these guys, mainly on the lower leaves. I think I could probably work it out with 5 minutes on Google, and it's probably some kind of deficiency. But generally speaking, they're just going great guns. They're just in the last week. I pinched them out, less than a week. I pinched them out at the weekend, and they've got all these side shoots come back already. So just in the last 3 or 4 days, they've put on a tremendous amount of growth. So we're going to, so here's a typical example. This is exactly what I call pinching out, or what I've been led to believe is pinching out, but I'm certain, in fact, that I'm doing something wrong. But there you go. It's not having too much of an effect on my yields because we get a tremendous number of tomatoes from these plants. So next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to set up, plan A really is to get some string to come down from these hoops and support them from that string. So that's the next step. done. So I've basically formed a triangle between this top bar and then 2 rows of string, one either side. We've tied them at the ends up to this top bar so they can't move down, and it's attached to this bar as well at a few points so it can't move up. So obviously it's got a bit of play in between, but it can only move so far. So yeah, and then we've run our strings up and over. So we've got all these down here ready to take our cucumbers when our cucumbers are big enough, and our tomatoes are definitely big enough now, so we're going to start clipping them on. My birthday is in June, so I tend to get given on my birthday lots of things for tying up plants, and of course I save them. We try and reuse everything that we can. So I've got a load of these lying around and some of this, which is like green wire. So yeah, with all the bits and bobs, we're going to now just tie them all up. That's it, all done. I've taken a few of the lower side shoots and leaves off as I've gone. I might just lose a couple of more now. So over here, look, you see this guy sticking out the back, right next to the ground. Take him off. And here. And this guy will come out once these have set fruit. So yeah, that's it. I think we're just about done. Again, I'm still in two minds about, so like here, this tomato plant is in 2 stems, and to be fair, most of mine actually now are how they're supposed to look with just 1 stem, but I'm in, you know, this is like the typical tomato plant with 1 stem, but I'm in 2 minds. I've got to say, if you've got the nutrients in the ground and the plant will support 2 stems like this, and it's an indeterminate variety, I just think you're going to get more fruit. I really do. But please do let me know. If you are a tomato expert, let me know. I'm desperate to know. I want to get the most fruit I can from my plants. I think just over the last 2 weeks, they've put on, some of them have put on over 1 foot in the last 2 weeks. So I just think they're obviously getting everything they need and then some. So I just think, you know, maybe I should ease off a little bit with the pruning. I don't know. I know that there's another price you pay, and that is how easily they are accessible, the tomatoes. And like I say, we've had it 1 year where we couldn't close the polytunnel door. The first year we grew tomatoes in this polytunnel, it was literally a mass. This whole side was just thick with leaves and tomato plant, and it came right out the door by about 3 or 4 foot. But you know, I got right in there, and I missed very, very few. There were very, very few I didn't harvest. Yes, it was a bit of a pain, but I wonder if that pain wasn't well worth it for the, you know, the additional weight of fruit that I harvested. I don't know. Let me know. Am I doing it right? Am I doing it wrong? What's best? Anyway, that's all done, and I'm really happy with that. It's my first year trying it with this string, and I think that's going to work really, really well. You know, it took a minute, but it didn't take. It took less time than setting up canes properly, for sure. And you know, the flexibility of these. So obviously, we're all set up this side now for our cucumbers as well. We can slide these along to wherever we want them. I think we're all ready to go. And again, look, we just got. There's actually quite a bit of fruit already. Can you see that fella there? Ooh. I tell you what, I'm looking forward to. I'm looking forward to crackers, goat's cheese, and then a thick slice of tomato straight from the polytunnel. Oh, I can't wait for that. I can't wait for that. And I don't care how much money you spend, you can't replicate that. You just can. That's us all wrapped up. Thanks for coming with me tonight, guys, while I put my tomatoes to bed and tuck them in and got them all in a fit and proper state, ready to kick on. I'm just going to pop the foliage up on the compost bin before I go in. I've got one quick announcement before I go, and that is to say this weekend we are doing a YouTube live, but it's going to be on Saturday, not Sunday. I'm having to move it because I'm actually leading a foraging walk on Sunday down in Devon. So I do apologise, because I have been saying that we would do Sunday at 12 noon, but it's going to be Saturday. So the time for that YouTube live is 12 noon UK time on Saturday. I do apologise for moving it, but again, please come and join me. It was amazing last week. We had loads of people in the chat, and it was a real thrill. I really enjoyed it. Look, the first of our carrots. We'll be harvesting a couple of those really soon. We'll be thinning these guys, and let's have a look down here. So I'll just show you one. Look. So that's ready for thinning. We can thin that out now, and these guys will just cook whole or put them whole in salads. They're amazing. I love these little tiny carrots. But yeah, so we are like on the cusp of harvest time. We're going to be harvesting beetroot in the next week or two, I think. We've already been harvesting radish and some salad leaves. Maybe we'll do another video on that, because I need to get to bed. So thanks for watching, guys. I really appreciate you coming along with me this evening. Please make sure you press that like button, press that subscribe button if you're not already subscribed, and of course leave me a comment down below. Seriously, I want your help with these tomatoes, because I don't know the best way to go, and I've got, like, you know, everything I read in books and everything I see what other people say, this is how you grow tomatoes. I've got all that over here, and then over here I've got sort of my own experience and my gut feeling about my soil and my plants, and you know, getting the most out of my harvest. Let me know. Speak to you soon. Cheers.